So I'm at Stoney Creek. That's my car. I love my stickers. Don't so much love the car, but hey, at least it's an endurance athlete like me. It's a Prius. And here's Stoney Creek. That's the bathrooms. That is always my first stop. And then the trails are off in that direction. Here's the beginning of the trail. It's about a half mile of this. It's pretty easy, so it's a great warm-up when you're doing the mountain bike trails here. This is pretty much the first half mile. There's it's just like really gently rolling hills. It's pretty easy, just good enough to go slow and get all warmed up for the switchbacks going up the major hill here. So you get a nice warm up. So Stoney Creek also has a lot of mile markers and markers in general. This is just basically your map. This is the one marker. So if you go that way, if you take a left at the one marker, then you get the 4-mile loop. That's it's pretty easy. When you start here, you just go up a really big hill, and that's like your last hill. So it's not really a hard run. It's also not as scenic as the way I'm gonna go. Mine's a 6 mile kind of loop, and it's really scenic, so I love it to death. I could probably count on one hand the things I love more than running or trail running. I just can't get into running in the city or treadmill or anything like that. But man, even that I weigh, I think 239 this morning, I still just love running. Just gotta go slow, you know. And this is where we take our left turn, and this leads into the switchbacks. They call it the roller coaster because it's so up and downy, you know. So these are the mountain bike trails, and I guess they're the hardest mountain bike trails, which really doesn't matter when you're running. Do not enter return trail. That's for the skiers during the wintertime, and then get kind of mean. Apparently when you're running in their tracks that they make, it pisses them off, so don't do that. All right, here's the trail, or the hill I love to see, because just after this hill is the entrance to where all the great trails are, the one tracks. It's also a spot where there's a lot of oak trees, and so in the fall, it's like hail sometimes. You get like a little wind, and then the acorns fall. And of course you can hear all the squirrels scurrying, and that's why I love the trail run. So much coolness out here. So you don't want to go straight here. You want to go left. So you go left at the 29 sign. This way. And this is the one track. And this, once again, it starts off pretty easy. And then the hills start. But once you run trails for years like I have, even at 239 pounds, you learn how. I took a chi running workshop. Danny Dreyer, the guy I did it with was Ken Andrews, and prior to that, I ran a 5K, and I hate to admit this, but it was like 45 minutes or something like that. I finished with the grandmas. That's how horrible I was at running. And that was like April, end of April. A couple weeks later, I took that chi running class where they teach you, good form. And the next day, I dropped 2 minutes off my mile, and then I just practiced and did exactly what they said in that chi running workshop. And I worked on one thing a week. How to hold your arms, posture, how to step, increasing my cadence, because I think it was in the 70s then, and I wanted to get it in the 90s. So I worked on everything 1 week at a time. Cadence took me the longest. I worked on that last. But, I could barely run a 5K in 45 minutes in May. Then in September of the same year, I ran a 50-miler, the ultra marathon, and 11 hours, 27 minutes was, high end of the middle pack, actually. I did really good. And I think I weighed 190 when I ran it, because underneath the fat I got a lot of muscle, because I used to power lift. Still like to lift, but not like I like to run. So here it starts. I love this. I get so excited when I see this. You know, it's like where the tree Y, or the trail Y's here turns into a Y. You can go that way, or the way I go. But this is where the roots start and all the really hilly stuff starts. So I'm gonna have to turn it off for a bit or I'm gonna bust my ass. So I didn't mean to come on this soon, but I just remembered something I wanted to mention about trail running. Oh my gosh, the smells. It's like springtime, and the spring has its own smell. It's kind of like a mustiness because things are decaying, you know, dying, trying to bring forth that new life. Just thought I'd mention that because I just love the smells. So here's a hill I thought I'd check in that I absolutely love. It's got these piled up logs on it, and for some reason, maybe I'm OC or something, I don't know, but I always have to run over them. It kind of burns my calves, kind of like videotaping. I didn't know holding a camera in front of you would hurt your calves so much, but man, my calves hurt when I'm doing this. There's a stack, and I'll share the love with you because I just love running up hills. And I love this little obstacle. I don't run on it when it's wet. Woo, woo, woo. I love that. Here's the rest of the hill. I'm only at like mile 1.15 or something like that. Probably. It's over a mile though. That's another reason I love that hill, because it's a mile marker for me. Still got some hill to go, but I put the camera down. Every once in a while something gets lost out here. Usually it's pieces of bike, but this has been here for about a month. Don't know who they are, but if you lost your sweatshirt, that's where it's at. Whew, finally a downhill. Man, I feel like I was running uphill forever, which I probably was. But you know, they say at the bottom of every downhill is the beginning of an uphill. I don't know why I love uphill so much. Had to be that chi running. I don't get any money from chi running, just so you know. I don't know kickbacks or nothing. But man, they teach you these techniques on how to run. And the instructor said, hey, you're gonna love uphills because it works with totally different muscle groups, and you'll look forward to them because they're kind of restful. And wow, was that dude right? Ken Andrews, props to you. You rule, man. Wait, there's 2 deers up there. Bye, deers. Bye. All right, here's the one of the high points on the run again. This is the little trail on the way to the top of what they call Mount Sheldon. It's the highest point in Stoney Creek. Might be one of the highest points in southern Michigan too. It's a fun hill. It's got like a bench at the top. You'll see it. On the weekends, usually there's, 30 people congregating at the top of this thing. Weekdays, like today, it's Tuesday, not really anybody. And you just keep running till, oh, look at that, flowers, look at the flowers. Anyway, then down this hill, we're a trail runner. We don't need no stinking brakes. Here's a part of the trail I actually don't like. It's a downhill. I just love one tracks and stuff. And you'd think I'd like it because it's going downhill. But no, not really. It's too many ruts. I usually get a stone in my shoe on this hill. And if you do get a stone in your shoe, take it out immediately, or you're going to be running 5 miles saying, wow, if this bothers me in another 5 miles, or it bothers me in another 5 minutes, I'll take it out. But you never do. So take it out immediately. But yeah, it's just too exposed. I like the trails. And then down there, I once saw a dead deer, sat there for 2 weeks. Even though, the park here is awesome taking care of this place. They do a fantastic job. So even the bathrooms are always clean. But yeah, I just don't like it. This is just yucky. But there's swamps on the right hand side, and then the left hand side farther in, going down this trail. And so once you get past this little spot, Oh wow, so there's only like a, I don't know, 1,000-foot spot I don't like on the whole trail. That's kind of funny. The rest of it I love. But this is where you start seeing turtles. Lots of turtles. And I love turtles. I used to have a pet snapping turtle. I had 2 of them. First one was really nice. Crawl up on my lap when I'm sitting down. It's a big turtle too. Big snapping turtle. Never snapped at me once. But I didn't know that feeding him goldfish would kill him. Because I guess there's some kind of chemical or something. But I killed him. I felt horrible too. Never thought I'd get another one. And then some friends from Kansas sent me a baby snapper that they raise. They grow and raise snappers and release them in the wild, but sometimes they give them to people. So they gave me one, and I was taking care of it. This one wasn't like my other one. This one was mean. And then it got to be got a lot bigger than the other one too, faster. So it was about 20 pounds, and it would get out of its thing, because I made sure that its water thing that it lived in, it could get out anytime it wanted, you know, so it could dry off, it could bask in the heat lamp, you know. I want to make sure it's happy as possible in my place. And but it hated me. I mean, you could tell it hated me. And when you got a 20-pound snapping turtle filled with hate wandering around your place in the middle of the night, that's scary. You know, you wake up in the morning, you count your toes. You don't let nothing hang over the bed, let me tell you, because the snapping turtles are big. They can climb. This thing would go up and down my stairs. It was big and scary. Anyway, this is where all the turtles are. And I've seen some pretty big snapping turtles out here. There's also a lot of box turtles and those red-eared slider things. And lots of noise too. Can you hear the birds? Ah, it's springtime. That winter, man, it lasted forever. I hate winter. I don't even run in the winter. It gets to be about November, December. My running slows, and I tell myself I'm only going to run when it's over 40 degrees. And then by January, February, it's over 40 degrees. You know, on occasion, I don't run because I forget that there's still a foot of snow on these trails. And if it gets warm, then it's just 6 inches of ice. Ooh, there's some water. Lots of turtles in there, I'm sure. They all come out and bask when it's warm or sunny. Right now it's pretty warm. It's like, I don't know, it gotta be 60s. Anyway, I'm gonna put this up again because my calves are hurting. So here's a favorite spot of a lot of people. It's called the 6 Trail, also aka the Snake. And see, there's the 6 marker. Here's the 6 Trail. They call it the Snake because it's really windy. It's probably it's less than a quarter of a mile as a crow flies. But the park made these really windy trails. And I think it only tends upward. Like there's more uphills and downhills if you look at your Garmin data. But I mean, it only tends upward about 50 feet maybe. But for some reason this one takes me a long time to finish. Like the mile here takes me a lot longer. Could be because the Garmin and I guess the phone now, it just doesn't want to record accurately when you're always doing these little switchbacks. So it might be longer than a mile. But this is a nice trail. You know, once you get away from the road, super secluded. A couple spots where you pretty much always see a deer in the morning. Lots of snakes, believe it or not. Snake Trail, maybe that's why they call it a snake. Nah, it's a shape. You can see it on the map. So the roller coasters at the beginning, snakes toward the end. So beginning of the trails, about 3.25 miles. You cross the 4-mile marker. It's not a marker, it's just a 4-mile point. At a big rock. So shut this off again because this is pooping hard. You know, another smell, these pine trees growing through here. For some reason, the smell of pine trees reminds me of Fort Benning. You ever been to Fort Benning? It's in Georgia. It just smells like pine trees all the time when I was there. I was in the Army a long time ago. I ain't got any bad memories. It just makes me feel like I'm at Fort Benning again. There's another one. Hi, deer. And now, for one of the more fun parts of the run. It's like a little bridge. Look at this. You know, in the summer when you're running, I like to come out here like at dawn, where I'm breaking all the spider webs for all the mountain bikers. There'll be like dew on this, and even with the chicken wire, this thing is like ice. I mean, it's just slick. I think it's probably all the algae and stuff that grows on it. Pretty dangerous. But, you know, not in the middle of the day. It's pretty good. Anyway, I love that bridge. Look at this. Danger, easy. Danger, easy. Come on, seriously. Never take the easy way. So here's a strange hill. Kind of ambivalent about, don't know how I should feel about it. It's the 5 mile mark, top of this hill. Means I've only got like 1 mile left. When I first started running it, it was huge ruts. So it was actually a pain to run up because you didn't want to twist your ankle. Now it's not bad. And it's not really that big of a hill, it's just, you know, it's in my head that it's the 5 mile mark. And I think when I first started running, I used to really poop out here. Didn't know anything about pacing myself or anything like that. But this is where I do my wind sprints, you know, where you run as fast as you can. You pick a tree ahead of you, run as fast as you can for as far as you can, kind of thing. I think the track and field people, they call it fartleks. They're a lot more anal about it. Trail runners, they just pick a tree and run because it's more fun. You know, we're not trying to count off the seconds for every 100 meters. We don't measure everything. Most of us get into it for fun. You know, there's a lot of good cross-country people who turn into great trail runners because of that. They do it for fun. You know, it's pretty flat. It's like a gradual downhill. There's more downhills than uphills here. This last mile's kind of a, you know, strange one because I love to run. I love to trail run. It means it's almost over. And if I run too much on a day I'm not supposed to, you know, you get injured or just too tired. And then next day when you're supposed to run your 12 miles, you don't, you know, you're just too tired. So you got to stick to your schedule and balance that with having fun. But, you know, this is the last mile. Good times. Huh, look at that. I don't know if you know this, but trail runners hate puddles. They shorten the life of your shoes every time they get wet. Your feet get wet and cold, and it's fun. Oh, pollywog, pollywog, pollywog. Oh, another one. Wow, this one could wipe me away. Oh, that feels so good. Ooh, that gets deep. Like an ice water bath for your legs. Oh, that feels so good. Yeah. Puddles. We hate puddles. There's a spot I love. It's about half mile from that point down there where you enter the woods again until the end. And during the summertime, when it's like 90 to 100, the last 3/4 of a mile I just ran is in the sun. And it's hot. But once you get back under here, that's where all the leaves are, you know, covering the sun. And oh, it like drops 10, 15 degrees in here. And it's so nice. Just a wonderful feeling. Here's the last bit. That's the trailhead up there. And you know, you kind of feel like a badass already when you finish a 6 mile trail run. But when the end of the trail run is uphill like that, that gives you a little swagger in your step. When you end, you know, you just did something most people can't do. So 6.50 miles exactly, hour 38 minutes, which is actually really slow for me, but you know, first run of the year, it's not that bad. Especially I'm 239, weigh 239 pounds. It's pretty freaking fat, man. So hour 38, that's pretty good. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the run. I did. And now my eyes are burning from the sweat. So I gotta go back to that bathroom and wash up. First stop and last stop.